Hey friends, welcome to today's episode of Friend Fusion. This episode, friend, is going to be life-changing for so many of us. I think insecurities, especially insecurities for women, can be very complex. It's almost as if, although we know everybody has insecurities, everybody has things that they doubt, everybody has all of these different things, right? We know that. But sometimes as women, it can just feel like we're alone on our journey. We're alone in how we feel. We're alone with our thoughts. Today's episode is going to remind you that, girl, you are not alone. Sir, men struggle with insecurities too. We all do. You're not alone. Stay tuned for today's episode of Friend Fusion.
Friend Fusion.
Friend Fusion. Marker and action.
Hey friends, I'm your host, Trinity Mitchell, better known as your friend Trin, and welcome to today's episode of Friend Fusion. Listen, friend, I really feel like I have done something today. Like, usually I don't have a lot to brag about, but today I'm bragging because I have with me my friend. You know her, you love her, especially all of her many accents is it Vietnamese, it's Nigerian, it's British, y'all. Hey, watch me do this. Watch me how. Y'all, welcome to Friend Fusion. My friend, our new friend, Phylicia DShea. Say, hey, friend.
Hey, y'all.
You see how I did that, friend?
Listen.
You see how I climbed in her DM? And like, hey, girl, what's see? You see how I did that? I feel like my friends are really proud of me right now.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me for being here.
Thank you. It's such an honor to have you.
You're the bomb.
Thank you. I feel like you're the bomb, which is why I'm just over here gloating because, yes, I'm so excited and honored to have you, Phylicia. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing. Thank you for making time. I want to ask you 3 dumb questions to start the interview.
Okay.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay. Biggest pet peeve is tardiness.
Okay,
because I try my best to be on time.
Relate.
And it's not for stuff like this because I get it, right? Mm-hmm. It's a big shebang. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about if we going out to lunch and you're 20 minutes late, that's a problem for me because it tells me you don't value the time we're spending together because I made an effort to be on time for you. And it's not if you do it like one time. It's if it's a pattern with you. I have a problem with that.
Okay. And what is the second one? What comes second to your biggest pet peeve?
Seeing people dolled up, decked out, and their kids look a mess.
Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What was your last experience of that?
So I was a mentor at my old church, and there was a situation where one of the moms, she just was always looking very nice, very put together, but her child always looks so dusty. Hair not done, crusty face.
Oh, baby.
Dingy clothes. Like, she just didn't look like, the mama didn't match the child. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if anything, it should be the other way around.
Yes.
I would rather my baby look presentable and I look a little dusty. Mm-hmm. And so that really bothered me because your child is a reflection of you.
What is your favorite pastime?
Pastime. I don't know. I don't think I have one. I'm really into Christmas. So I didn't grow up with a traditional family, though. Like, I didn't grow up with Christmas traditions and things like that. So I always said when I created my own family one day, I would create that type of thing for my kid because I want my kids to be able to say, we have this tradition. We have this tradition. And I don't really have any.
Gotcha.
So.
Who is your favorite person in this season of your life?
Favorite person in this season of my life? I would say one of my really close friends, her name is Jasmine, because she tolerates all of me, but she will check me, she will uplift me, she just helps me to know if I've made a wrong decision. She's what I need.
She's what you need. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering those questions.
Of course.
Yeah. So when Phylicia and I started to talk about what this conversation could look like, I just asked her to share her heart with me. And in doing so, she expressed to me the many things that she's endured due to a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
And I want to start there today because, sometimes women, we feel embarrassed by lacking confidence, by being insecure, by just the many things and emotions and the challenges that we have as women. It's just so complex,
Oof,
right?
yeah.
And it can feel really embarrassing because it feels like you're by yourself. Like, you know what I mean? If you really feel like you're alone,
Yeah.
because so many people are embarrassed to express some of their most inner thoughts and the things that they battle with on a daily basis, right? And so I really feel like this conversation is necessary because I was just telling my friend Latarius that what I've learned is the things that I'm embarrassed of, me personally, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. The things that I'm embarrassed of, God uses to empower others. And so the more that I get to talk about it and I get to share my story and I get to be candid about it, the more I realize that God is not just empowering me from it. You know what I mean? But he's actually empowering others with that testimony. And so I really appreciate you making time to empower others with this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
So tell me, can you take us back to when you first began to notice your insecurities impacting your relationships?
Yes. So I would say, like, right as I became a real adult, you hit that 21, 22-year-old stage, and I started to get into church. So I joined church and I was developing different friendships in church. And I realized that I had such trust issues that even people that were being good to me, I questioned it. Like, why? Because in my childhood, people were not good to me. I was abused as a child in many different ways and from family. So it's like, I don't trust anybody. And if you're being nice to me, what do you want from me? And that caused me to sever some ties with some people because I think they got sick of that. They're like, listen, either you gonna trust me in this friendship or you not. I already have showed you I don't mean no harm. You can't be so insecure. Like, I think my insecurity literally made people not want to be friends with me.
Wow.
And Jasmine is a great example too. Girl, she's done hung on in there.
Which way did you show which way did you make those
So
insecurities
I
apparent?
would notice that, like, when I got really depressed and I got really dark, I would retreat. Meaning I don't want to talk to anybody because I don't want to put this energy on anybody else. So I thought I was helping by retreating. Well, friends who are actually checking on you, they'll be like, well, no, that hurts us when you retreat like that.
It feels like you're ghosting.
And I would say things like, well, if I'm too much for you as a friend, I understand if you need to get away from me. I understand if you don't need to be friends with me anymore. And I would say that so many times to where one day she said, if you say that one more time, I'm going to take you up on your offer because either you're going to trust that I'm here for you and I'm not going nowhere, or I need to go because you're going to push me away. Like, why don't you just believe that I'm here to be your friend? And so I almost lost one of the greatest friendships I ever had because I was so insecure about my own self, my own issues, that I was too much for her to handle. And I was pushing people away from me, and they were there to really love on me.
Yeah. So do you think you were pushing them away because it's what you actually experienced in your childhood, where you felt like you were too much, like you felt like you were a burden on people around you?
Yeah, honestly, I just felt in my childhood that I was just completely unwanted in general. My mother prostituted, was on drugs, still to this day in that lifestyle.
Wow.
And so for me, I just felt like I was her unwanted child that was forced on family members because it was just another one we don't want to go into the system. Because it was like, okay, let her go into the system too with the rest of them, or we can just, get a check for her and keep her, So I've always just felt unwanted, unloved, unnurtured. And so I didn't expect that from people. And when they gave it to me, I thought there was an agenda. And that was going to ruin some relationships for me because you have to understand, not everybody is coming to harm you.
Yeah. Not everybody's coming. Some people come to heal you.
Yeah, they do. And then me, myself, I started to realize that I'm not the only one who has that type of insecurity either, because when I try to be a friend, I think because I never want to be a part of anybody's trauma, I'm so careful with how I treat people. I love on them. I do way too much for them, and we'll get into that too. To where I'm like, now I'm the one like, just why I'm just here to be your friend. Like, I don't want nothing from you. But they're dealing with what I used to deal with.
Yeah.
So
what are some of the? I think one reason a person would be like that is because they're used to people having motives.
Yeah.
An ulterior motive. So, what are some things that you have done to identify when people are just genuinely themselves, and when people are kind because they actually do have an ulterior motive?
For me, I think the biggest thing I'm doing, especially in this season, is the Bible says to test the spirits. I'm just watching what you do. I'm just looking how you act. I'm just listening to how you speak to me and to others. I'm looking at if I'm the one always reaching out or not. Or do you check on me too? When you talk to me, are you talking about other people, or are you talking to me about other things?
Yeah.
I just pay attention to everything. Discernment is on 10,000 right now. Especially as I continue to grow on social media, some people just want to attach themselves to you just because you got celebrities that follow you.
Oh, wow.
So I just pay attention to every little thing, not in a micromanaging way to expect somebody to be a certain way, but it's like, God is like, this is the time out for you to keep giving everybody a chance. Because I be like, I'll admit, I'm the girl who thought I could be everybody's friend. I wanted to be everybody's friend. And it would only end up hurting me. And God was like, because I never told you to go over there.
Yeah.
You went over there. So now I just pay attention to everything.
What were some of the red flags you ignored in friendships and relationships, and why do you think you chose to overlook them?
Loneliness will always cause you to ignore red flags or turn them yellow or turn them blue or green, whatever. You'll turn them green because you're like, you know what? Maybe that's just something she has to work out with herself. Or maybe, there was a friend who told me once, we had been hanging out. Like, we'll go out to eat for my birthday. We'll go out to eat for hers. Sometimes I would pay. Sometimes she would pay. I thought we had a friendship. And then she gave birth. And I wait. When my friends have babies, I don't just bum rush you to come see your child. I wait a couple weeks because I already know you're overwhelmed.
Yes.
Unless you send for me, I'm not going to bother you.
Right.
I'm going to check on you, but I'm not going to try to pop up at your house. So I waited about 6 weeks. And I was like, hey, I would love, to come visit. And her response was, well, I don't let everybody in my house, and I only allow close friends and family to come. And I thought I was in the close friends.
Oh.
Girl, I thought I was in the close friends, and it hurt my heart so bad. But then I was like, you know what? That's okay. Maybe.
How did you respond to that, thinking that you were a close friend?
I was really just in shock. But then I was like, I kind of was like, you know what? Maybe close friend to me, you can prove yourself to me for a whole year, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's my close friend. That's my friend. Like, we, because I don't measure things by time. I measure things by actions. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe she's one of those people that measures things by time. We've only known each other a year and a half. Maybe she needs to know me 5 years before she considers me a close friend. That's how I wiped it away.
Right.
And then I started to evaluate the overall relationship. So when we say red flags, like, I'm the only one ever reaching out. I'm the only one ever calling you. I'm the one initiating every time we spend time. And so I was like, man, she really, with that movie, he's just not that into you. I think I like you more than you like me. And so that hurts. But it's like, pay attention to that, because people show you how they act towards you if they really want to be in your space or not.
Have you ever experienced a person that has convinced themselves that they like you, but they actually don't like you? Especially like, okay, so you have your platform and you have all of these thousands of followers and all the things, that you have people who like that, but when they actually get around you, they do things to connect with you, to get into your space, or like whatever they got to do, whether it's bring a gift, whether it's compliment you, like whatever they got to do to like get into your space. And then you discover, like, I've literally just stopped and asked, are you sure you like me? I don't know if you like me. You think you like? Are you sure you? Because I don't think you like me like you think you like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you like this, that I think you like that I got this platform. I think you like the popularity. I think you like having a friend like that, or you might get I could be a plug or whatever. I think you like that, but I don't think you like me. Have you ever
Yeah.
experienced that before?
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, I respect people so much who will flat out say, I don't like you.
I appreciate that.
I
Please.
appreciate that so much. I want to buy you coffee. I want to take you
Yes.
out just for telling me that.
Get you a
Because what I
Christmas
can't
gift.
do is let you play in my face. That hurts me to my core. Just say you don't like me. And I think a lot of people, especially with me being on the internet and having all these funny videos and things, I think people love the idea of being my friend, but they want to be entertained.
Oh.
And so when they get with me and they spend time with me and they see, oh, she cries. Oh, she actually do have like depression issues sometimes. Oh, so she's a whole human behind that funny. And they can't handle that because they didn't come for that.
Yeah.
They came for the entertainment.
Wow.
And so once they really spend time with me and get intimate, and I'm not just a cloud of doom. I think I did have a season where I kind of was, but it's like people don't come for all of me. They come for what they see. And that is the entertainment, the funny. Oh, she'll be fun to have at our girls' night. I would be very much.
Yeah.
But I'm not fun enough to just go to dinner with you by yourself and just talk and have, intimate time or pray with you or have you encourage and uplift me and I encourage and uplift you. They like the idea of being my friend.
So, have you ever felt a need for validation or companionship, and how if you had that, how did it make you feel secure when attracting to people or connecting to people to feel validated? In what way did they make you feel secure?
The funny thing is I've never felt secure. I didn't feel secure until I started to get to a place where I'm like, you have to believe that you are completely enough. And the people that are for you, God will send them. Stop chasing them. Stop running after them, because that's really what you're looking for in certain people. There are certain people that I look at and I admire them so much. They follow me, certain celebrities that follow me. I admire them. And I don't want nothing from you. I just want you to know, listen, I admire you. And I want to pray for you. If you got a product coming out, I'll promote it for you because I think I see you are dope and I want to do that. But I had to realize, like, because I didn't get like love as a child, there is something I expect back, and it's the love. And because it's always been missing, I was like, no, I don't expect nothing from people when I do things for them. And God was like, no, you are expecting something though. And until you get to a place where you can only rely, feel secure in, trust in the love of Jesus Christ, you will never feel secure. You'll never feel like, I'll always feel like, because you can be my friend today and then next week you don't like me. People are fickle.
Yes.
Jesus is not.
Yes.
So I just had to get to a point where I'm like, you know what, God, whoever you remove, I'm all right. And then whoever you bring, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm in a season of surrender. Legitimately, this is my season of surrender.
Yeah.
I bought a book. It arrived yesterday. Phylicia DShea, I Surrender All. I'm starting to read it tonight.
Yeah.
I am in a season of surrender because I have too many expectations for myself and of people. And God is like, you just need to relax. You just need to chill. You just need to give me yourself, because I'm hurting my own feelings a lot.
For people who struggle with loneliness and insecurities, one thing I found them to do, especially if you deal with abandonment or rejection, other things, one thing I've really found them to do is to use people to fill voids, right? Oh, so because I'm lonely, I'm going to get you because you're always available, or like whatever. Can you tell me about a situation in your life where you have used relationships to fill voids?
Oh yeah, I moved somebody in my house once. I was friends with her, loved her very much. She didn't really have. It's not that she didn't have nowhere to go. It's just, it was more convenient to be in my house. We were besties. We were always together. And because I didn't want to be by myself all the time, I'm letting you in my house. You're not paying no bills. When we go out to get our nail done, I pay for your nail. I pay for my nail. You see, the Vietnamese just comes out automatically, randomly. So I'm paying for her nails. I'm paying for my nails because I'm that type of friend. I'm not gonna go out and get my nails done, and my friend can't afford it, and I'm gonna let them sit there and watch me get my nails done. I don't operate like that. So I'm paying for her. I'm paying her phone bill. Girl, you would have thought I was the sugar daddy.
I was just going to say, so
Honey,
most people take care of a man. You took care of your friend.
Exactly why I don't judge women who have been in horrible relationships with men, because I have tolerated the same bull crap from women.
So
Not on that level. Let me be clear. It wasn't none of that going on.
it was not.
We
It
don't
was
do
not.
that one. We don't do that one. But it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But you know, the same way women have stayed in bad relationships with men, I've stayed in bad relationships with women. They have used me. They, you know, they'll
Like overextending yourself,
exactly
overcommitting all the
doing
things.
way too much, and it was all in the name of loneliness.
How was it? How did she end up in? What was her situation that you said, okay, you can move in with me? What happened?
Well, that's the thing. I never really said. She just ended up staying, and then you know I'm single with no kids.
It's
so
giving moocher.
yeah. So
Leave.
you know, she just came and didn't leave. And then when I finally took her home one day, she quit speaking to me after that. Like she was mad that
How long was she there?
Oh, like 3 months.
You
But I'm
didn't- you
single
didn't-
with no kids, and so when your kids will come and stuff, and y'all turn up my house, I'm just kind of like, oh, I just needed a break.
Wait, she had kids too?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait. Okay.
So you know, I just needed a break from that situation. And let me tell you how good of a friend I am. She was dealing with CPS, and I got cleared through CPS because she couldn't even be around her kids unless I was cleared and with her.
Wow.
Because there had been a situation where, you know, and I'm not going to tell her business or anything, but there was a situation. So I had to be with her kid, so that she could be around her. And it just got to a point where, you know, you single with no kids, your house, you used to quiet. And then it had just been noise. I was like, man, I need a break. So I just took them home, and I was going to come back and get them. But then it just, the energy shifted. Like there was a madness that I just, you know, decided to take them home.
Okay, so after you've opened your home to her and her children, they're living with you. It's been 3 months. How did you guys even get to that where you could just be like, okay, so let's go home? Because I would imagine that's a challenging conversation to have.
It was just like, I don't even remember how I did it. I was so young too. I don't remember. Girl, I probably lied. Because I used to have a lying problem. And let me tell you how I was a very bad liar. And I'm not a liar to where I lie about stuff like where you can't trust me. I was a liar to the point where instead of saying something that might upset you, let me make up something else so you don't get mad at me. So instead of just saying,
People
I don't
pleasing.
want to, yes. So instead of just saying, I don't want to do that, I would lie. I would make something up. Like, oh, I got to go do, you know, what, like I would make something up so you didn't get mad.
My auntie coming to town.
Yeah, something. So I'm sure I made up a lie.
This episode is great, right, friend? I know. Join me for more episodes just like this one in my Patreon community. That's patreon.com/yourfriendtrend. I cannot wait to connect with you in real time. When did you come to realize that you were being used in this situation?
When I took them home and they quit, and the energy shifted, and then I got so I had so much enjoyment being back in my own space with the quiet. I let it go on for a while, and then it just started to be, now you're saying things about me. Now, you know, I'm this, that, and the third. Like, you know, so it just I wasn't spending money on you anymore. So now you're not my friend.
So that relationship was that the resolve, or did you guys ever talk again after that?
We talked again years later, and the conversation was even from her mom, like, man, she never had a friend like you. Nobody has ever loved on her like that. Nobody's ever done so much for her. She said the same thing too. So she acknowledged that I was a great friend to her. I want to say she even apologized. It didn't come out like, I took it as an apology. You know, I take people where they're at, right? I know everybody doesn't word things the same way. So I would say she knew she messed up a good friend.
Yeah, I think this is the thing I have that I've learned about people. I'm really a student of people. I've learned that a person who has abandonment and rejection issues, you struggle with loneliness or security, you have to be careful with people who struggle with acceptance, who have never felt accepted, or never felt like they've been important to anybody. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when people who struggle, and I'm just talking about as a student of other people's lives, a lot of people who struggle with abandonment and rejection, particularly suffer from loneliness, they'll connect to people who are looking for acceptance, and those people don't bring much to their lives, like at all. And what happens is the person who struggles with loneliness is oftentimes buying, giving, doing in hopes that this person will just stay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And the other person on the other end is benefiting from You are dysfunction. They're benefiting from your trauma. They're benefiting from that. And so they do nothing to add value to your life. And so that while they may be contributing, quote unquote, value to you because you're not lonely, they're also stripping you of your value because you're investing where you can never get any reciprocity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in terms of dealing with people who are looking for acceptance, what are some things that you have done knowing that you have suffered from loneliness? What are some things that you've implemented into your life to make sure that you don't continue relationships like that?
I identify it and I tell the truth about it. So when I'm feeling really lonely, when I'm struggling with that, I go to my safe people that I feel comfortable to talk to. And I'll say, hey, I'm struggling with loneliness a lot today, or a lot this week. Please pray for me. I try to go to scriptures that talk about that. I try to read books. I listen to podcasts. I fill myself with things to combat that. And then I remind myself how blessed I am because there's somebody out there who, while they might be lonely, it's for a different reason. They lonely with a man in the house, you know, they lonely with a child in the house. They lonely, like you can still be lonely and not have the same situation as me.
Yes.
Or I thank God for me being by myself and I'm not in a house with a toxic man. I'm not in a house with somebody putting their hands on me. I'm not in a house with a disobedient child who's driving me out of my mind. You know, so I just start to thank God for my situation and where I'm at and start to look at it differently. And that's really been helping. Like I don't feel the way that I used to feel about my singleness and me being by myself like I used to. I'm like, I got peace.
Yeah, I feel
It's peace
that.
in my
It's
house.
so valuable.
People come over my home and
Greatest
they're like,
asset.
it's so chill in here. It's like such a good vibe in here. Yeah, honey, the Lord is here. Okay. So yeah.
I feel like peace is my greatest asset.
Yeah.
I don't play about it like at all. I don't. It doesn't matter what I gotta do, who I gotta cut off, what I need to correct. Listen, I can get. You know how sometimes when it comes to relationships, it can be challenging to set order. But when it comes to my peace, baby, listen. I'm vigilant over my life. I do not play the games. One time, this is gonna be a funny story. One time, somebody tried to correct me. I don't know if they were trying to correct me or if they were just wanted to say what they wanted to say, but they were speaking about my marriage. No, they know nothing about my marriage. You know what I'm saying? They know nothing about it. But I think people sometimes they'll do things to see if you will allow it. And even though it was uncomfortable for me, I knew that I needed to correct that immediately as soon as that person said whatever they said. And I said, I'm sorry, did you think I needed your advice in my marriage? Because I don't. And I don't say that, and I'm not saying it because I could be, I could be away. But I'm not even, I needed to get clarity. Did you think that I was, because, sometimes we're afraid to say what we need to say. But when you don't say it, people assume.
Yeah.
And if you allow people to assume, you know the rest.
Yeah, this is where I need to touch the hem of your garment. Because, honey,
sis, even though that moment made me uncomfortable a bit because I didn't want to offend them, I just had to get clarity because first I needed to know, did they think I was asking it? And then if they did not think I was asking it, I needed to correct them. They did, I needed to correct that. Yeah. And then if not, or if so, whatever it was, I needed to let them know that's not okay for me. That won't be happening here, right? And so sometimes we're hesitant about doing that because we don't want to offend people. But here's what I've learned. The moments that I've strayed away from speaking, the moments that I said I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to chill, I ain't going to do too much, I've allowed people to assume. And as soon as they assume, what they do, they make them out of me and out of them. And so I had to stop doing that because I gotta say something. Yeah. No matter how confrontational it is, I gotta say something.
So let's touch and agree for me to do better with that. Because I struggle with that. I struggle still to this day with saying what I need to say. Because I'm so careful of not wanting to hurt anyone. Because I'm the type of person, I do think God created some people sensitive souls. And I tell people I am a sensitive soul. You have to watch how you talk to me. It just is what it is. Maybe because of my childhood trauma. So because of that, I try to watch how I talk to people. You can correct me. Do that. I want you to. But don't be hard with it. I don't need that though. Just like you can't raise all your kids the same way. Some of them you might have to whoop. Some of them you might just have to look at, right? You don't do everybody the same way. I'm a person. You don't have to say it hard to me. You don't have to go there. You just need to softly tell me what you need to say and I will receive it because I'm mature enough to receive it.
I don't know if you are sensitive or if you just require respect.
Yeah. Okay. We can say that.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we make it the issue about us. People just disrespectful. People don't want to honor boundaries. People, they ain't got the issue. I'm not sensitive. You're going to respect me when you talk to me. You're going to act like you got some sense.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm going to stop saying that now because I know when I was at a very old church that I went to, they would say, oh, you seem to be really easily offended. I'm like, no, you just didn't have to say that to me.
No, you got a problem.
You shouldn't have said that.
See, you see me. See, I've been corrected for a long time. But now, see, you got a problem and you want me to make your problem about me. Yeah. No, I'm not sensitive. You just gonna respect me when you talk to me. You're not gonna handle me like any other kind of way.
Say what you need to say in a respectful manner because I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm trying to get better at in the moment. Hey, I did not like this. I don't like when you do XYZ. So we're getting braver. And I think as we learn to love ourselves more, especially in this season and surrendering to God, I trust that in me speaking and expressing how I'm feeling in the moment, that God will reveal to me if you're supposed to be for me or not. Because if you act a fool based off of me simply expressing to you that something has hurt me, or if you can't maturely handle what I've said, you're not for me.
Yes, absolutely, you're not for me. I feel like if we're going to do life together, I gotta feel safe to let you know when something is not okay for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I feel like too, what I've done is, Holy Spirit, give me what to say. Because sometimes the way I say it ain't even necessarily the way that I ain't gotta say. I can say it without saying that doesn't work for me. I can say it without saying I don't like when you do that. Because see, I also feel like too, because our brains are so wired, psychologically people are wired to the negative.
Yeah.
Right. And so the way that you frame your words can also can also really affect people's perception of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, here's a new boundary I had to create as a mom. Right. Instead of me saying to my family member, you ain't gonna keep my child no more. We're not gonna do that. I say, you know what I've decided? Because it's the Holy Spirit to tell me what to say. Watch this. I say, you know what I've decided? In my absence, I'm just going to take full responsibility for BJ. So you're not keeping my child no more. But I know that you can't handle me saying that. You know what I mean? I know that you know what I'm saying? I know how that may affect you.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know that I may not ever need you again in my life. But what I can say is, because of this matter, this is the adjustment that I'm going to make. So in my absence, I will take full responsibility for my child. So what that says is, you won't be responsible. And I don't have to say, I don't have to hurt them. I don't have to make them feel no kind. I don't have to make them start wrestling with themselves. Because if I had said, you ain't gonna keep my child no more, you know what I mean? That's different. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to relinquish you of this responsibility and move on. So I also found because I'm so vocal, it could be.
Yeah.
So I have learned to invite the Holy Spirit into how I correct too, how I establish boundaries, because sometimes we can do it in such a way that there's no comeback. Yeah. And the way that you feel in a moment, ooh, child, it's just so many lessons just start coming back to me. Because the way that you feel in a moment is not how you feel in 2 days. Yeah. In 2 weeks, in 2 months, in 2 years. And so oftentimes we're so adamant about getting our point across. I think for people, a lot of us struggle with this. We're more focused on getting our point across than we are on getting our love across. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think even when we disagree, I have a responsibility to not get my point across, but to get my love across to you. And if I can show you by how I speak to you, see, that's what we really jack it up. Because you know how somebody really feel about you by how they speak to you. I'm going to be considerate. I'm going to be thoughtful. I'm going to be, you know what I mean? I'm going to handle you with the way I feel about you. You know what I mean? But just because I got to be able to separate how your behavior has made me feel and how much I value this relationship. Because how your behavior has made me feel and how you make me feel are two separate things. But oftentimes when we're correcting, when we're expressing our boundaries, we respond to the behavior as if it's the person. Does that make sense? And there's a difference. And so what I've been doing is, what I've been working on, and because I'm not going to sit here and act like I've mastered it, but I've been working on separating behaviors from people.
Yeah.
Because the behavior is what needs to be abolished, not necessarily our relationship.
That's so
But
good.
if we're not careful with how we speak to people, we can abolish the relationship and not the behavior. And so I've really been working on that. I mean, it probably sounds really passionate because it's something that's really like, I know I don't have a problem speaking.
Yeah.
But that's something that we should actually be slow to speak.
I'm gonna admit something to you. And I'm not even gonna be scared for the thousands of people who may hear this.
Yeah.
Separating the behavior from the person, that is a lesson that I did not get until I had to heal from being hurt at my last place of worship. Because the way I left, I was so hurt. I'm talking about to the point where I was like, okay, we're not doing another church. We're not going to another one. Like, I can't handle, I can't. Because this person who I admire and I love so much chose to do something, and to me it didn't make sense. And you keep telling me I didn't do nothing wrong, but I'm like, then make it make sense why you did this to me. And it wasn't that. What I learned was, you're not a bad person because you did this to me. But I looked at I put it all together. I was like, bad church, bad person, bad people. I bundled it all together and I left the church. And I am now admitting, one, God never told me to. I did that operating in my feelings. God did not tell me to leave that church. He didn't tell me to join the new one that I went to.
Wow.
And because of that, I ain't had no peace.
Wow.
Since I've been at the new one. And it has nothing to do with these people. They're great. They're wonderful. Love it. I just knew I wasn't supposed to leave. But I associated the person and what they did to me with the whole church and who they are as a whole. And it just can be that you just did. Let's stand on the fact that, no, you didn't handle me properly, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person.
So
and it doesn't mean you're a bad leader.
Did you just separate this in the moment while I was talking?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
because, well, I think that's confirmation for me.
Yeah.
To see that's exactly what I did. That's why I left. Because instead of saying, okay, this is a good person who didn't handle me properly.
Good people have bad behavior.
Didn't handle me properly.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have been done a different way. I still will stand on that till the end of time. You just did not handle me properly. But that doesn't mean that she's a bad person. And it doesn't mean it was a bad church. It was probably a bad decision to leave because you didn't give God an opportunity to work it out. Wow. You just left.
Wow.
I was just in my feelings, so broken, so hurt. I said, oh, well, and I just left. And then I joined this new church and I have not felt an ounce of peace being there. Despite the fact that I love the people, I love the environment. I've been wrestling with whether or not to humble myself and say, listen, I made a mistake and I need to go back.
So basically what you just said to me is, if you're bitter, it's not going to be better.
Right.
And a lot of times we think that we're going to make a situation better or us leaving. But if you have bitterness in your heart and you don't handle that thing the way, see, God handles everybody differently depending on your connection and your relationship with him.
Yeah.
So where it may not bother someone else to move on, you be conflicted in your heart. You know what I mean? Because of how you didn't stay to work out the hard thing. Because a lot of times God is trying to use situations to develop us, but we run away from them. You know what I mean? We run away from, okay, so I can't learn now that you're not a bad person. Because now I'm filtering the things that I've endured in my childhood. I didn't put this lens on you, and I'm going to respond to you the way I wish I could have responded to my mama. Like, I'm going to respond to you. I wish the way I could have responded to that mean auntie or that family member, whoever, right? We'll put that lens on a person just who is just as imperfect as we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think running away from offense is probably the worst thing you can do, because you think that by running away that it's going to make it better, but it literally keeps you from developing, it keeps you from growing. Because if you won't be able to develop in any part of life, I think. My this is me. This is how I feel. This is my opinion. I don't think you can truly develop in any part of life or master very significant things until you learn to master communication and relationship with other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell me, now that you're in this and you realize that you have like no, well, I don't think you realized you had no peace today. Now that you've gained this confirmation, is it too soon to ask you what is next?
Yes, because even I don't know. What I know is I have said, Lord, I'm going to seek you. I'm going to pray through the end of 2024. And if you tell me to go back, I will do so at the beginning of 2025. Because God could take that thing either way. Because even when we make wrong decisions, He's such a good God. He still can bless us where we are. He still can allow us to move forward. And the journey has just shifted, and He gonna do it a different way now. But I really want to seek and ask, do you want me to go back there? Because I visited there and I just felt like I felt peace.
You know what? I also feel like disagreement is also an opportunity for us to have healthier connection in relationships. Did I say connection or relationships? To have healthy connection in relationships. Disagreement, I feel like it gives you the opportunity to know a person a bit better.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when we run away from people when we're offended, I feel like we rob them of the opportunity to know us better. If you don't understand how something affects me, then you can't really get to know me.
Yeah.
And so one reason I'm just a person who's just wired like that, but one reason I face disagreement head on, because I see it as an opportunity for us to know each other a little bit better. You know what I mean? I don't think I've had a disagreement with Phil in real time, but like, okay, so like, if I had a disagreement with a friend or somebody, instead of me retreating, like I'm like done, because I think there's a lot of layers to me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of layers to me, but you won't know those layers if I just like, you know what, we had that issue, we got that, whatever. You don't get to know me.
Yeah.
And so we don't just rob people of the opportunity to know us, we rob ourselves of those deep connections.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are feeling lonely too because our relationships don't have any depth. But if we're gonna have to unpack some stuff if we gonna have some depth. I'm gonna have to know that triggers you. I'm gonna have to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to know that. So when I don't know that, then our relationship can't evolve and we can't share that depth or that platonic intimacy that really both of our hearts desire, because I can't get to know you. So we got to be able to box a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But we're boxing for a greater cause. That makes any sense. And that is to know you, to really know you. You know what I mean? So since you left and you went on to this new ministry, you're serving and all the things, and you've been conflicted in your heart in terms of having peace about moving on, you prayed, you asked God before the end of 24, can you confirm if you want me to go back? Do you feel like even if God did not release you to go back, do you feel like you would go back because you've learned better to apologize for how you handled being offended?
Well, the apology already took place.
Okay, gotcha.
I already let the person know two things can be very true. You can be very hurt in a situation and in a place and respond to that hurt incorrectly. And that's what happened. I will stand on the fact that I was hurt and mishandled. And I will also stand on the fact that God didn't tell me to leave. I chose to do that.
Yeah.
I did not handle the hurt correctly. I don't think I had the tools to handle it correctly either, though.
Yeah.
Because all I knew was the hurt is here and I can't function here now. I can't look at you. I can't be in this place knowing that I'm suppressed in this manner and that I'm not that I may never be good enough to use my gift here. I was so hurt.
Yeah.
Because it had already took a lot for me to even be at that church, because I was at my first church for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a church hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I stuck that thing out for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then this is the second church I've ever joined. And so and I loved it. Love them, still to love them. And I just allowed that situation to hurt me so deep that I just didn't handle it properly. So I think the apology's already taken place. I've already admitted, and I love to do that. One thing about me, and I think that's what makes me a good friend, is, honey, I will apologize
Me too.
all day.
Yeah, it
I'm
makes
not
a
gonna
relationship
sleep
so much
tonight
better.
feeling
Yes.
I'm not gonna sleep with this on me.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
I'm not gonna do anybody a certain way or say anything, because one thing about me, the old version of me specifically, is I can stand before God and say this: I don't talk about people unless you did something to me. The problem is, when I go in. And even though I might not be cussing, even though I might not be tearing you apart as a person, I'm going to say some stuff. It's just not, but it's still not okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's still not okay.
It's not okay.
I fully accept and believe and receive that. It's not okay. So what I didn't do was apologize for then saying some of the things I said afterwards, which was, you know, that they were evil for doing that to me, and that like, you know, just making judgments of the character based on the situation.
Yeah.
I never got to apologize for that, and I don't think me seeing her leaving church was the time to do that. I think that would have to be a sit down conversation.
I do understand.
And I don't think, and I didn't say anything crazy. I don't think I said it out of my hurt though. I said that she's not a nice person. Like that wasn't nice to do. You didn't, and you didn't acknowledge that you hurt me. You act like you didn't care. Like that's how I felt. And it was just wrong of me it was just wrong of me to say those things. Period.
And what you said could have been true, but it was like you said, it was the way that you were saying it, the way that all the things. Because sometimes too, when people offend us, we want to gain allies, and so we'll share things about them. We'll share our experiences in hopes that somebody else will say, yeah, Phylicia is, we want that. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like that is. It's not right, and I know that God is not pleased with it.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
And if every time you made a mistake, I got some things I regret. Okay? And if every time you made a mistake, can you imagine people that you hurt and all of them have gained allies to team against you?
Yeah.
So I try to, I try to lead my life in a way, not just about how this moment will affect me, but I really believe that seed that you plant, you're going to reap that. That's what the Bible tells us, that and only that you sowed. That's going to be your harvest time. So you can think all you want. It's just that you sowed them oranges and you're going to get apples. But no, you was fake. You lied. You betrayed, all that. So when you experience that, I don't know about nobody else, but the moments that I've experienced some things, there have been things that God would bring back to my memory. And it's not that he's using it to taunt me or to keep me bound or to keep me in my past or make me feel like I'm not forgiven. It's just a reminder that your decisions have consequences. And oftentimes, the consequence that you're going to bear is the same consequence you gave to someone else. So when you experience people coming against you or teaming up to hurt you, you just remember that when you got into it with so-and-so, that you was on the phone trying to make people feel how you feel.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't share your experiences. Don't go to
share with the right
wise
people.
counsel. I'm not saying that, because we do need to talk about some things.
Right.
But oftentimes, especially us as women, sis, it's like, I need a teammate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I need some allies against this person because of what this person has done to offend me. That being said, I want to talk about your experience in the church. We're talking about how you left that particular church and now you're at a different church. But one thing that you shared with me is that the Black church was the first place where you felt bullied for your weight. Can you tell me more about that experience?
Oh, yeah. So in high school, I was very well liked. I actually enjoyed going to school. It was an escape. It was an escape for me. I was very well liked. People thought I was funny. I could sing. I was really fun. Like, people liked me. And then when I became a member of Black church, nobody liked me. Like, really? I just felt like I had no friends. I felt like they basically, like, there's always cliques of women, right? and they're usually tied to leadership. And there's a favoritism there. There's a group, like, I mean, if one don't like you, the other ones don't either.
They gotta fall
And
in line.
yeah. And they don't want, and they will come to you and say things like, "I'm sorry." Like one time, somebody said something, and because of who she was, basically they were like, "We know that was wrong, and that we know she was rude to you, but you know that's just how she is." Like almost like I want to defend you, but I don't want to put myself in the middle. Almost like I know she's evil, I know she's wrong, but I don't want her to. Then I don't want to be the next target, so I'm going to stay out of it. And so, you know, and it goes back to, I'm one of those people, like, I try to be such a good friend that it can seem weird to people. Because I've been called, I've been called weird because I, you know, offer to give you gas money, or I offer to or I buy people gifts. I'm a giver. Like, if you my friend, I love to gift you for your birthday. No, because you had a baby. It's Christmas, you know, appropriate times to gift. But I've had people tell me I'm weird for that. And like, they can't fathom somebody genuinely trying to just love on you.
Wow.
So it's just weird.
No, I had a girl ask me, was I gay?
Oh, Brenda, so I've had that too.
You remember that? And I'm like, what? Because she was like, well, I was just floored because you see my husband, the man is handsome. Yeah. Okay. And at the time he was my boyfriend. And I'm trying to figure out, girl, why would I look at you and think it twice about, girl, to buy? You know what I'm saying? Strictly. Okay. Jesus. Sorry.
It's okay, honey.
Okay. But
listen, it's cool. Listen.
But anyway, I'll keep on recording. So that's my candid thought. I don't know where you got, you know what I'm saying? I got 7 brothers, but I never wanted what they got. Right. What they want. You know, never, ever, it never gave that, you know? And so with that being said, I was so floored by that. And when I started to ask her why would she say something like that, this girl was literally like, because you be checking on me. What? Like, no, girl. Like, because I check on you once a week or something, or because I got you a birthday gift, or like, girl, you really ain't never had a friend. So all the friends you have are mean girls. So you normalize having mean girls so much as friends, and you're probably a mean girl considering that you asking me this. That's what's been normalized for you so much that you can't even conceptualize a person who is just a friend, who is kind, who is nice, who checks in on you, who gets you a birthday gift, who's thoughtful and considerate of you. So their relationship did not mature well. Like, I
wouldn't expect it to.
But literally.
You can come. They're so used to the opposite that when you come along and you just genuinely want their time,
girl, I just care about you.
That is weird. Yes. And I've literally been called a weirdo. I've been called like, oh, maybe she like girl. Like, honey, I understand I've never had a boyfriend before, but that don't mean I want a girlfriend.
Right.
Like, it just means I'm waiting for the Lord to send me a man. Like, so, you know, and also again, there are things that I went through in my childhood that I think is beautiful for me because all that trauma made me like this. Yes, I'm going to check on you. Yes, I'm going to see how you're doing. Because you're not ever going to link me to your trauma.
Yes.
I'm not ever going to be a part of the story of, I hurt you, I did this,
and you had to go and heal.
No, you're not going to put me in that box. Yes. You can, when I leave this earth, I want you to be like, yeah, she cared about me. She checked on me. She made sure that she checked on my kids. I take it very seriously when my friends have kids because, one, I'm going to separate you as a mom. You're my friend first. So, like, when they have a baby, I don't just get them a gift for the baby. I get them a gift for themselves because you need love too. Yes. You're not just somebody's mama. You're a whole person.
Yes.
And so people just think, I think they're so shocked by it that it's got to be weird. You know, it's weird. Something, you must be up to something. You must be strange. And I'm like, y'all really ain't had no real love like that. And it's
Never.
a shame that I'm the one showing it to you because I ain't had no real love.
Well, you know what though? The very thing that you haven't had, God will anoint you to give to other people.
That's what I guess
Because you know exactly what is needed. You know what I mean? So I think for me, what I would say is this whole relationship thing is from God. It's the very thing that I suffered with in my childhood: poor relationships, dysfunctional household, a lot of aggression, a lot of passive aggression. I don't think we could ever just have a regular disagreement. It always had to be all the things.
Yes.
And then my dad did not have a good rapport in the community, right? And so there were people who would see me and they'll say things like, "Where your lying dad at?" Because he probably had lied to them. He probably had scammed them. And so I would just reap the benefits of, not the benefit, but I would be a casualty of war, so to speak. And just, like, and I would also have reservations about people because I didn't want them to think I was like him. So I do a little bit of people pleasing so they just don't think I'm a liar or I want to scam them or something. And I'm like a kid, just, I'm out here fundraising for band or something, but I'm still on the edge because I know everybody, this is a small town, everybody know that I'm my daddy's child, and I just don't want to be seen as a liar or a scammer. I don't want to be seen like that.
Yeah.
So I would be very, very intentional, I will say, about how I treat people and my honesty and all the things. And just being a victim of like really poor relationship, constantly being judged from the faults of my father, having church people feel some kind of way about my family because all of us were talented and they be trying to compare their kids to us, and then they the ones holding the measuring scale, and when their kids don't measure up to me or one of my brothers, now we're the culprit in their lives. Like, so just experiencing that kind of stuff, it's made me always want to treat people better. And so from the things that I've lacked and the things I did not experience with people growing up, now I have so many people to tell me. It's like when you teach friendship and you teach things, it's almost as if you teaching us things that our parents should have taught us.
Right.
And I think that is so funny because my mom was great, absolutely amazing, right? But there are things that I experienced with her, like when she would feel overwhelmed, she would go in her room and could just close the door so she didn't want to say it. She was really, my mom was a great intentional mom. Like she'll say, before I say anything to you, I just want to say nothing to you. Because she just feel like I don't want my kids to remember the day that I lost it or I said something that sit with them for the rest of their lives and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But in some of those moments, I felt like she needed to say something. She needed to not be passive about this. She needed to not go in her room and close the door. No, she needed to say something. So for a lot of the experiences that I've had, it's like God it's been a conglomerate of things that God has used to help me see empty spots in other people.
Yeah.
And so for some of the things that I get to share and some of the lessons I've learned, it's been amazing to see how God has taken my deficit to make it an asset in other people's lives. So that's just what he does. He's just good like that.
Yeah,
You know what I
he
mean?
is. I sit and I ask God sometimes and I cry and I'm like, Lord, why do I keep getting in situations where people are so mean to me and I haven't done anything? I'm loving on them. I'm doing, and God said, I said, am I the problem? Is that just what am I doing though? What am I the problem? And the Holy Spirit said, yes, but not in the way you may think. You may not be doing the hurting. You may not be doing the using. What you are doing is the chasing.
Wow.
Stop trying to go after people that I didn't send to you. And that's just the bottom line.
Wow.
I understand and take responsibility for creating a lot of my own heartache because God never told me to pursue that friendship. Or when the friendship pursued me, well, first of all, I don't think there's ever been a situation where the friendship pursued me.
Wow.
I have always created my own friendships.
Hey, what
And
about
so-
me?
But
What you trying to say?
Okay, so did I say did I?
Nope.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you this.
correct
I prayed
it,
about
fix
us.
it.
I prayed about us though, and I think I told you this. I said this is the first time I've ever had a situation where I looked and saw somebody on the internet, and I was like, God, I want them as a friend. I just kept like your videos just kept doing so much for me. And I said, man, I want to be her friend. And then lo and behold, we connected and you offered to you were like, well, here's my number. Like we exchanged up. Like I was like, did that really? I was like, did I just pray for a friend and I got the friend?
It's so funny.
Like the Nigerian is coming out right now because
Yeah.
that was special to me. Jesus. I was like, hey, Jesus, answer this one. And he did this. So that just was like, I was so grateful for that. Because I was
Yeah.
like, I can just tell. I can just tell she's just great. Like, but I can also tell that you would be a person who, although I can be very soft, you'll be like, hey, don't do that. Or hey, take that down.
The discernment is
Don't
king.
say that on this video. You know, I need people like that.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I want the correction. Just watch how you correct me, please. That's all I ask.
I'm all for watch how you correct me. I was just telling my friend Brenda the other day that what I like and appreciate about our friendship is the depth that if she needs to hit me and say, it really don't matter how she said to me because I know that she means so well because we got that history though. We got that history. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. You know what I'm saying? We got that history.
Yeah.
So like if she hit me and she like, bro, like take that down. Or not just take that down. I don't know if that's a good look for you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of we have that the history and we have the connection, like the way that we connect. If in terms of how you share things with me, you know, I can perceive it differently than someone I have not known as well. Just boom, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I already know that how I can share something with Sarah, I may not be able to share with you because of the time difference. And so where she knows the stature of my heart, you don't necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a matter of time too. So I've also learned in terms of how people say things. I'm not saying take the responsibility from how people say things. I also think sometimes the way that it lands is just because we have not had enough time.
Right.
That makes sense?
To know.
Yeah, we have not had enough time to, you know what I mean? So it's not that you don't have to be mindful of how you say things, but I could say whatever to Phil, and Phil is gone about his business, and I could say whatever to you, and you're like, dang, because whatever, just because of the time difference, So another thing I've done to help me build healthy connections is to honor the time, because sometimes we ain't even there. You just ain't had enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with the things you've experienced in the church and the bullying and all the things in terms of weight, how did those moments shape you? I would say, how did those moments shape the way you viewed yourself in your relationship with your faith?
I'm just in a season of taking full accountability for me, full responsibility for my own part in what I feel about myself. So, okay, I have an issue with my weight. Okay, so then I say, let's tell the truth. What are you doing to fix it? Because I'll go into a depression and I will eat myself to death. So I had to get to a point where I've had to start my weight loss journey over many, many times. I filmed Dear Future Wifey with Lateris back in February, and I was on my weight loss journey then, and then I went backwards after that.
Wow.
And then now, literally 2 weeks ago, we started it back, and we have lost 8 pounds in 2 weeks, praise God.
Congrats.
But I have also identified, you're eating a lot when you feel sad. That's not okay. So now let's keep ourselves from getting to that mental place. So it's really taking accountability for where I play a part in why I don't like myself.
That's good.
Taking accountability.
Can you repeat that?
Yes.
Taking accountability.
Taking accountability for the part I played in why I don't like myself.
That's good.
The part I played in why I feel insecure about this or that. Like, I just have to look in the mirror and be like, girl, you don't think enough. Why the internet got to keep telling you who you are, but you won't tell yourself? And so I started to appreciate the validation I get from my followers. I'll post a picture and that thing they be like, oh yeah, and it's like, I'm like, oh no, we starting to depend on that. Why don't we believe that though, unless they're telling us? So like, I had to just admit, we're not putting in the work to make ourselves better. We have settled in this victim mentality. We have settled in this hurt. And because of that, now here we are. So I have literally been on a journey. When I say I'm in a surrender season, I'm in a surrender season. I'm like, okay, God, take it. And when you take it, help it stay away from me forever. So I'm just trying every day, literally taking accountability for my part in my own destruction, and every day just trying to do better, but also not beating myself up, right? Like, oh, well, we wasted all this time doing it. No, okay, let's move on. We're still living. We're still breathing. So we still got time. And that's just what it is.
You mentioned to me that you've never actually had a boyfriend. How old are you?
36.
36. How have you navigated that? Like, is that a personal choice of yours, or do you feel like it has not been like a feasible time for you? Like what? Like explain it to me.
Well, to be honest, I don't get approached one, and I think I know people be like, it's 2024, shoot your shot. I don't have a problem with it because I'm a silly girl. Like I'll tell somebody they're cute. I don't mind doing that, but also I think there is a stigma that's around heavier set girls that will tolerate anything, will allow anything.
I
don't
heard
know.
that heavyset girls be taking care of me.
Baby, let me tell you something. Never have I ever
Listen,
paid a bill.
I ain't ever said I ain't taking care of now.
Because I work too hard. You're
Yeah.
not finna suck up my air. You're not finna be sitting in my home. Honey, yeah. Do I have a PS5 in my home? It don't belong to no Negro.
That's it.
It belongs to me.
Yes.
Do I have a MacBook? It's mine.
Yes.
Do I have an iPad? That's mine. Yeah. That I bought with the job that I work at.
Nobody's driving around with a car in your
Baby,
name.
they won't drive that Kia. You hear me?
Gotcha.
Okay? I know it's not a Porsche. I know it's not a Benz. Okay? But you won't drive
What do you
it.
think about what do you think about having a mate that you got to get a car for him in your name?
Baby, let me tell you something. You're not the one because I'm looking for a leader. And I don't mind submitting. See, that's the problem. A lot of these men are like, y'all don't like to submit. No, we're not submitting to foolishness. Oh, please give me the soft life.
Yes.
Okay, y'all remember on Norbit where Rasputia, where Norbit be like, Rasputia, the crispy said got food poisoning. There's vomit everywhere. And she said, you're dirty. Baby, I can't wait to tell a man, you're dirty.
Yes.
Phylicia, your oil change, it's time for you to get an oil change. You're dirty.
Right. Listen.
Listen, Phylicia, your tire pressure's low. You're dirty.
Listen.
Please do it.
This is one thing too. Some people would think something must be wrong with her because she never had a boyfriend before. But you know what that says to me? You know what that really says to me?
What?
That you have high standards.
Listen.
Because it is easy. Let me tell you one thing about it. Baby, it's easy to get a man. Baby, they easy.
Listen, they're all in the DMs from everywhere. The Vietnamese men, they come to the
Girl,
DM.
they so easy,
honey.
girl.
They
so
say,
easy.
you
Yeah.
want to take me with you to Vietnam? I go with you.
No, I appreciate your standards because I'm
Listen.
telling you, even though you've expressed to me how insecurities have affected you, you ain't let it affect you over there. Because let me tell you,
we've had low self-esteem, honey, but it ain't never been that low.
Oh,
It ain't never been that low.
Yeah.
Not to let you lay up in my house
Oh, no.
and suck up my good air that I paid.
no, ma'am.
Okay, to
No,
Green
sir.
Mountain Energy.
No,
You ain't never,
Ain't no way.
No,
Ain't
never.
And let me tell you this. I feel like it's like for me with Brandon, and I've said this several times, Brandon makes my life better. He's alleviated tasks for me. See, I grew up with fatherless. So there are a lot of things I've just been independent at for a long time. I've been doing, I've been working. I've just been very independent, right? And so Brandon comes into my life and he's like, you know, it ain't normal for you to be like that. You can, you know what I'm saying? And so he's alleviated. I don't even think about. I don't know if I got gas in my car right now. That's his job. I don't think about it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to submit.
Here's what I'm saying. Some people would judge me because I'm like, I have this desire. My husband will be 40 in like 2 years of change. And I'm looking forward to retiring him, but I'm not retiring him because he gonna lay up and look around. But like my whole everything right now is operated from my clothes because he styles me. For every camera, the set, everything. Everybody here knows that Brandon is running this ship, and so I want to free him to be able to do the things that he really enjoys doing. And it looks like he's just enjoying seeing me glow. So why not? Why not free the man up? So I'm looking forward to being able to do that, but mainly because of how much he contributes to me. The problem is for a lot of women, that nigga ain't got to contribute nothing.
Nothing.
He ain't got to contribute.
Nothing but
I don't like
nothing
that.
but what Jocelyn Hernandez say on Love and Hip Hop. I know that Stevie don't love me, but the beefcake is great. Stevie don't have nothing good about him but the beefcake.
It's not enough.
I don't need the beefcake.
Baby,
okay?
it's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
So she was standing
can't
that
even
thing for beefcake. That's all he contributed.
Let me just keep 100 with you, father. Listen, I can't get it wet if you ain't doing nothing. And you ain't contributed to my life.
Baby,
my coochie shut down.
Like a,
baby, no. Girl, we had to talk off camera.
Yeah.
Cause no, just no. I don't nothing
But they
about
really
you.
think that's how we operate. And it's like,
Mm-mm.
it's sickening to me that you think just because I'm in this body currently that I gotta hate myself where I'm at. No, baby, I need to love me while I work to get to my goal. And if you a real man, you ain't gonna let that stop you from pursuing me anyway.
Right. And if me getting better by myself intimidates you, you mad because I own a house, you mad because I'm losing weight, you feel some kind of way because I'm self-aware, I'm going to therapy. If all of that stuff intimidates you, baby, stay over there.
Please.
Please.
Uh-huh.
That's a moment.
Because I want to know, are you in therapy?
Yes.
So
yes.
and if you say no, I'm saying you do.
Yeah.
Go to therapy, sir.
Yeah.
It's not. Are you in church?
Yeah.
Half these dudes don't even know the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you think, and then they be. You know what's so sad to me? Anytime I get a negative comment about my body on social media, you know who it's coming from?
Who's that?
Black men.
For sure. For sure.
And it hurts my whole heart because it's like you are we love y'all so hard and so much. And I have done a tally, not that I sit and obsess over my negative comments, but I pay attention to who they come from. They are mostly coming from Black men, and it's mostly the ones that look like Buddha. You short, fat, and bald-headed, but you got the nerve.
Yes. Yes.
If I was a size 6, I wouldn't look in your direction
Anyway, period. Would never look at you. You would
like,
never be on my radar.
Never
Ever.
get me. I wouldn't look at you now.
No. But it's not even, sometimes not even just men, it's also women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not like I'm a girl's girl, but I just feel like people in general, they just mean. And the things that we're trying to project onto you, they don't even have. They're not even there. Like all the things, like for me, particularly in fitness, right? I've had people come in things like I look like a man or something like that, or just people in general. But when I look at that man don't look half as good as me. His stomach is out there. He got little bitty calf muscles. His shoulders are scrawny. Like they don't even like
built like Gru.
What man are you
Me.
comparing me to? Because your man don't look like me, sis. And so I just be it's people. You just have to decide. You have to come to the decision for yourself that you're not gonna let people and their opinions and their projections wear you, because a lot of times the things that people point out about you is just simply things that instead of admitting that they are inspired by, they're intimidated by it. And because they choose to be intimidated by it, they can't be inspired by it. They hold an animosity toward you because of the things they don't. They look at you and you are literally fulfilling things. They see you and you remind them of the deficit they have. It has nothing to do with you. And I think coming to realize that how people feel and the things that people say and all that, I'm serious. I just turned 34 a few weeks back. I think that has been probably the most freeing thing in my life in this last quarter. How you feel, what you saying, it got nothing to do with me. I had a person tell me once, I think Sarah was present, that I'm not enjoyable to be around because I play too much. And I'm laughing. One thing about me, if I can't laugh,
and I love people like that because I'm silly.
If I can't laugh, I'm leaving. I don't want to be somewhere where I can't laugh. You know what I'm saying? What is this, court? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be here. So I have made it a point, like I'm just like that, but I'm not annoying to the point where you're like, okay, 12-year-old.
We're trying to be serious.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm gonna laugh. You know what I'm saying? And so I started to carry that because somebody said that to me. But the Holy Spirit quickly revealed to me they lack joy.
That part.
Because they lack joy, your joy is irritating them. See, you got to be able to separate the behavior from the person too, because the Bible tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So some of the spirits that people are wrestling with, you got to remember that spirit ain't got nothing to do with you. And you be walking around mad or retracting or shutting yourself down, trying not to do too much. All the things, literally changing your whole persona to accommodate them, to accommodate that spirit that they are battling with. And you got to remember, see, just as much as God wants to use what's good about you, the enemy wants to stifle what's good about you. Because the joy that I have, that natural, organic joy that I have, is a blessing to a lot of people's lives that I encounter. Yeah. But if I start to retract because somebody said something to me, what would that mean to the people that I'm assigned to bless? What would that mean to people who ain't had somebody to just come in and laugh and just be joyful? They don't even know what it's like to be around authentic joy, see what that's like. So a lot of times you got to we got to remember that what people are feeling, what people are saying, and the things they're battling with, it has nothing to do with you. So sometimes it's one thing to be insecure, and it's another to pick up somebody else's insecurities and carry that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have learned to, honestly, I've learned to just say, forget people. Because what they got going on ain't got nothing to do with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So before we go, I want to ask you this final question. We've talked about the insecurities. We talked about how it affected you. We've talked about how you have decided to separate the bad behavior from good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other things. What are some steps you're doing to move forward and just becoming secure in areas you have not felt the most secure?
I think we're getting closer to God than we have ever been. I think I ran from God for a season because I was so disappointed with him. But I wouldn't say that because I'm like, you can't say that. No, God's a big boy. He won't hear that. I think he wants me to be. I think he wants me to be vulnerable. He wants me to be real, and I am comfortable in my transparency in this season. I'm like, man, listen, we've been in a struggle.
Yeah.
Because I can't learn from perfect Christians. Like, I need you to tell me what you went through and how God brought you out so I can know that he can bring me out too.
Yeah.
And I want to be one of those people that's able to say, here's what I did. I just decided one day that I was fed up with myself.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I just was like, I'm fed up with myself. I'm tired of going backwards in my weight loss journey because I get depressed so easily. Okay, what steps are you taking to not be depressed? Are you, well, let's look at the fact that you ain't been consistent in your word. Sometimes you pray, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you work out, sometimes you don't. It's going to take consistency. Like, you really, the steps I'm taking is addressing my own bad behaviors, like my own inconsistencies, my own reasons for where I'm at, and just trying to rectify that, trying to reinvent myself, recreate, renew, rejuvenate, just redo my mind so that it can flow and show in my body.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm literally in a season of surrendering.
I love that for you.
All of it, everything.
Yeah.
So
I love you brought that out because the mission of Free Infusion is to cancel the cancel culture. And a lot of times when we think about cancel culture and the grievances that other people share of us or whatever it is, right? In terms of just people, we think about how oftentimes people have canceled us, but not how our actions are causing us to cancel ourselves. You know what I mean?
yeah, my words against myself have been one of my biggest enemies. And I had to ask God, like, Lord, please help me. Please cancel every negative word I've spoken over myself. I rebuke every negative thing I've ever spoken. I do this daily because sometimes I'll just be like, well, I wouldn't be cute in that. Or it just happens so naturally. And I'm checking myself. So it's literally a daily dying to yourself, a daily fight to like, just be better.
So what is your advice to those watching who may be struggling with insecurities very deeply?
How bad do you want to not struggle? Like, you have to decide, like, pick your hard. That's what I had to say to myself. Okay, it's hard to be depressed all the time. It's hard to be overweight, but it's also hard to do the work to stop being depressed, to do the work to stop being overweight. And then there's a reward on one side.
Yeah.
And there's not a reward on the other. So, like, which hard you gonna go to?
That's good.
I would rather go to the side that's gonna benefit me in the long run. So I'm just excited. I just tell people, you just got to make a decision. You got to be tired. Like, you got to get to the point where you're like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And that's what led me to this season of surrender. I am tired.
Yeah. Felt.
So.
Well, Phylicia, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you had this conversation with me. I know that it will be impactful for all of my friends, and I just want to say to you again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, absolutely. Friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Free Infusion. I have been in a season where I have been confident for a very long time, but I remember a period of time where I was very insecure, particularly in the area of weight. I remember putting on my church clothes. I was getting ready for church, and I immediately went into tears because I just couldn't wear anything. It was like I went to dress after dress, outfit after outfit, and it's like I could not wear anything, and I had to come to grips with why I was feeling how I was feeling. And although the weight was there, I think the weight was a reflection of how I actually felt about myself. And so I started reading books. I started doing things to feel better about myself. I started working out. And so Phylicia, you said it best. I picked my heart. I picked my heart. And I hope you, friend, will pick the heart that is that actually has a reward on the other side of overcoming. I really appreciate you guys for watching this episode of Friend Fusion. I hope that it blessed you. And I cannot wait to see you back on the next episode of Friend Fusion. But until then, friend, I love you, friend. I'll see you back on the next episode.
Ooh.